Day 2 of PAX. My name is Quicksilver from Structure Gaming and Obtrusive Media. I'm here with James Lopez from Gearbox Software and Joel Eshner from 2K Australia. We are going to talk some Borderlands pre-sequel right now. We just got off the floor playing it. A lot of fun, great new characters, and well, it's Borderlands. What else can I say? So let's start with you, Joel. 2K Australia is new to the project. Why don't you tell us all about Borderlands pre-sequel?
Yeah, so Borderlands, the pre-sequel, is set in between Borderlands 1 and 2, hence the awesome name. It started as our chance to really tell the story of how Handsome Jack went from a normal guy, a noble guy who thinks of himself as a hero, to a, eyeball-scooping psychopath they use in Borderlands 2. And from that kind of narrative moment, we got to say, well, we have to go to the moon, we have to go to the space station. That's where his backstory lives. And that really allowed us to kind of explore these awesome new gameplay features like low gravity. You probably noticed out there, when you press that jump button, you're going really high in the air. Press it again, you boost along using your oxygen, and if you hold that crouch button, you slam down to the ground. It's this new kind of loop to the gameplay that we brought in there of jumping, drifting, and then slamming down, doing area of effect damage. And we have this new piece of gear called the Oz Kit, which you can electrocute people. It's Borderlands. You can freeze people. You can set them on fire when you do your slam. So it's a whole new location. The first time we've ever left Pandora. 4 new Vault Hunters. Completely new story. And it builds on the really good foundation of Borderlands 2.
It's great to see that Borderlands is alive and well now. The franchise has been with Gearbox for years, James. What made you guys decide to do a pre-sequel compared to doing 3?
Well, I think that when we were looking at our fan requests after wrapping out the Tiny Tina DLC, we saw a lot of requests about going to the moon and also wanting to know more about Jack's background. So it seemed like the perfect time to do that. We have a lot of stories that we want to tell with Borderlands, and so we knew that we really want to kind of tell the origin story of Jack, how he came into power, why is he such a powerhouse when he comes into Borderlands 2. And it just seemed like the perfect opportunity to do it. And we had run into 2K Australia at GDC, and hey, we're really big fans of you guys, right? We're really big fans of you guys. We should make a game together. And that's, I think, just kind of how this whole thing started.
This just sounds like a total bromance to me, which is going to make for Shooter of the Year. Now, this next question is for both of you as developers. I find it kind of strange that there's no next-gen included in this now. Gearbox, you went on record saying that there was a good enough community on Xbox 360. What kept you away from next-gen beyond that? Was it a development flaw? Was it just wanting to stay with that normal platform? Or was this something that was in the works before next-gen was even announced?
I was really just about knowing where the majority of our fans were still playing games, and seeing the kind of user data from Shift on how many people were still playing on 360 and on PS3. We knew that was where we should really be starting this adventure. And it's been really awesome. We're still seeing that. We're still seeing a lot of action in Borderlands 2, so it seems like we made the right choice.
Well, we started this well before Next Gen came out as well, and we had a decision whether to focus on making as much game as possible or game on Next Gen. If we had diverted people to try and make it for Next Gen, then it would have made less of a game, but we've put 100% of our focus into making the game as big as possible and having as many features as possible.
Excellent. Now, Borderlands is a humongous success here in the States. It's a humongous success everywhere. There are no plans on possibly maybe bringing this down to next gen, down the road, or even a definitive collection or anything like that?
I think it's definitely an awesome idea. There's been a lot of interest in us doing it. I think it'd be crazy if we didn't consider it.
Okay. Now, there are 4 new Vault Hunters, as we've been talking about right now. I saw a Claptrap. I can't remember the names of the other 3. I'm going to let you guys tell me the names of the other 3. I'm terrible with things today. I feel like I needed a coffee at 3 o'clock, and, Dragon, and, I got to play Borderlands, and I played as Claptrap. Claptrap was fun. So why don't you tell us about 2 of the new Vault Hunters? Sure.
Well, so there's obviously Claptrap, who fans of Borderlands will automatically recognize, right? But Claptrap's sort of like this chaos in a can. He has all these randomized abilities through VaultHunter.exe, which will sort of analyze what's happening in the moment and go, oh, this is going on? You should totally do this. Except sometimes it's not really what you're hoping for, but as long as you're flexible, Claptrap can be a lot of fun. Probably one of the other characters who is probably my most favorite is Athena. People remember her from Borderlands 1, the General Knox DLC. She's supposed to be sort of like the ultimate warrior, and she's back now as an actual player. And she has this kinetic aspect, which is energy shield. It basically allows her to kind of fulfill that tank promise. She can get in front of your other players and absorb damage. But she also has these sort of neat hybrid elements to her, where she's also like a very aggressive tank, you know, because she's going to take all that damage, she's going to throw it back at the enemies for massive damage. She also has this tree that focuses on melee, so like whenever she melees someone, she basically puts a status effect on them called "You've got red on you," and the enemy is actually completely red when that happens. And during that time, they will take massive amounts of extra damage, behaving very similarly to how Slag worked in Borderlands 2. Okay. There's also this really cool thing in there where when you get an enemy down to 50%, they will take damage faster. So the whole idea is like she's setting up her team to do these crazy combos to just rip through enemies. And I think Joel will probably love to fill us in a little bit more on the other characters.
Well, I have to ask, you did mention the late great Ultimate Warrior, so Athena is just fury, rage, and insanity, plain and simple?
Yeah, I mean, she's a real badass. Like, she has this other skill tree that focuses on, it's called Saronic Storm, and it focuses on her elemental abilities, basically putting stacks of Incendiary and Shock on enemies and just wreaking havoc. No matter which tree you go in, they're going to do massive amounts of damage, and it's just really awesome. I also like to duel with her because that shield comes in handy when someone's shooting a rocket at me.
Awesome, awesome. Now, we've heard about Athena, we've heard about Claptrap. Joel, tell us about the rest.
Yeah, so the other two playable characters are familiar to Borderlands fans as well. The first one I'll talk about is Nisha, the gunslinger. So she was the sheriff of Lynchwood in Borderlands 2, Jack's girlfriend. It's not Jack's girlfriend yet, but she still is kind of, you know, she takes pleasure in hurting people and killing people, which makes her perfect for this kind of role. Now, she kind of fulfills the cowboy gunslinger promise, and her action skill is called Showdown. And when she goes into this, it's kind of like going into a spaghetti western mode, where she's automatically kind of targeting critical spots on enemies. Yeah. It's that real promise of being like an awesome gunslinger. It has this sepia tone. It plays that kind of spaghetti western tune, and you're just automatically going and doing headshots on critical spots depending on the enemies that you're attacking. Now, she also has a whip. Her melee attack is a whip. It's the first long-range melee weapon that we've had in Borderlands. And one of her skill trees completely focuses on leveling that up, so you can do shock damage or other elemental damage, make it more powerful. You can actually whip people and steal ammo from them as well. Her middle skill tree is all about fulfilling that total gunslinger promise and making yourself more powerful with pistols. So when you eventually get to the capstone of that, you can clone your pistol. So it's like gunzerking, but for the rest of the game. So whenever you have a pistol for the rest of your playtime, you will clone it and have two, so you're dual wielding forever. And her final one is all about making her kind of more powerful with that promise of firing from the hip. So if you want to do damage with sniper rifles or assault rifles and get really in there and do that kind of damage, it makes it more powerful like that. And the last one I'm talking about is Wilhelm. Wilhelm, again, the first big boss in Borderlands 2. He was just a head on top of a loader. In this one, if you saw him, he looks more like a man, but he's addicted to augmenting himself. His action ability allows him to spawn these two drones, Wolf and Saint. It's an attack drone and kind of a health buffing regen drone. And his left skill tree is all about making Wolf more powerful. His right one's about making Saint more powerful and kind of keeping him alive. The central skill tree is really interesting because it's called Cyber Commando. And with that one, he actually changes himself. So you can upgrade so you actually visually replace his arm. So you have this Go-Go Gadget punch. It has a cooldown on it, and it kind of goes out like that.
You mentioned Go-Go Gadget.
And especially if you freeze someone and you do that, it'll shatter them just about every single time.
So in other words, Go-Go Gadget everything.
A little bit. I mean, eventually he turns into just a gigantic loader, but you can replace his leg as well. You're actually visually, it's pretty cool because you're kind of telling the story of Wilhelm by going down this skill tree. When you change his leg to the robotic, like his slam becomes way more powerful. The slam is this really big important move in Borderlands, the pre-sequel. When you get up high and you hold that crouch button, you slam down. And you can augment it in all kinds of different ways, but every single playable character has ways to make it more powerful, whether it's elemental damage or just more damage overall.
Awesome. Now, my final question for you gentlemen, will you be able to import your Borderlands 2 save file for this game?
Well, no, we won't be doing that just because it's entirely different characters. But you know, we do plan to give love to our fans for their loyalty to the franchise. So you know, people that have Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2 saves should definitely hold on to those.
Hold on to your Borderlands save files, Justin. So, Borderlands 2 is Borderlands 2. Wow, I need a coffee. Hold on, excuse me. No, no coffee. Never mind. I'm just thinking all excited about Borderlands 2. I just want to go home and play it right now and get ready for Borderlands the pre-sequel. It's out October 17th. Am I wrong?
October 14th in the States.
I was wrong.
Sorry, in North America, October 14th. But in Australia, it's October 16th, and internationally, October 17th.
So my date was correct, but not for the States. Don't go out and pre-order Borderlands 2. Pre-order the Borderlands pre-sequel right now. October 14th here in the States, the 16th in Australia, and the 17th around the world. My name is Quicksilver for Structure Gaming and Obtrusive Media. I'm going to go play this again, and then I'm going to go play Evolve. So I will see you tomorrow for day 3 of PAX Prime. Later.